The township residents are paying for her fund.
Deep debt, and that is the finding of an investigation of village finances and the spending habits of beleaguered Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Tiffany Henyard, the so-called super mayor of Dolton, Illinois, is at it again, and this time it's bigger than ever. Rumor has it that she was just caught trying to bribe a federal agent. Yes, you heard that right. The FBI has its sights set on her, and things just went from bad to worse for this embattled mayor. Can you imagine being in so much hot water that you actually think bribing a federal agent is your way out? That's where Henyard is now, and believe it or not, her troubles are only just beginning.
Is there a motion to terminate Keith Freeman?
Henyard's story has been full of jaw-dropping moments for years, but this latest scandal might be the one that finally brings her down. Picture this. Not only is she being investigated for mishandling taxpayer funds, throwing lavish parties, and engaging in shady deals, but now she's allegedly been caught red-handed offering bribes to federal agents.
Coming in, unfortunately, we knew it was going to be a little messy, but it's just something we felt important that had to be done, that should be done. But like I said, you have just some accountability.
It's almost too wild to believe, yet here we are. According to sources, the FBI is now reviewing all her transactions over the past year, trying to determine whether she's been taking kickbacks or simply pocketing taxpayer money for her own benefit. And the list of accusations just keeps growing. It all started with whispers of Henyard's reckless spending and the way she's been burning through public money like there's no tomorrow. From paying tens of thousands for private concerts featuring R&B artists to splurging on first-class travel, expensive meals, and even bounce houses for sparsely attended town events, she's been living large while her town struggles with a multi-million-dollar deficit.
I do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
Can you believe that? Dolton is drowning in debt, yet Henyard was willing to shell out tens of thousands for just a few hours of entertainment. And if that's not bad enough, she's accused of using the town's credit cards like her personal piggy bank dropping. Almost $40,000 in a single day on Amazon.
Who would make a one-day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon? And the main thing is, what is it?
That's right, folks, 40 grand on a shopping spree. But of course, the spending wasn't enough to get her into this kind of trouble. No, Henyard's problems run much deeper. The town's finances are in such a disastrous state that former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was hired to investigate the mess. Lightfoot's initial findings were shocking. Dolton's general fund, which once had a healthy balance, had plummeted into a nearly $4 million deficit under Henyard's leadership. And as if that weren't enough, the FBI is said to be looking into a whole range of questionable financial practices, from possible kickbacks to some finance. And even the way Henyard has allegedly been using public funds to boost her own image through flashy ads and billboards plastered with her face.
Hey guys, this is Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the People's Mayor and People's Supervisor.
One of the most outrageous examples of Henyard's behavior has to be her infamous 85,000 party. Dubbed the Taste of Thornton Township, this event was supposed to be a major hit. But by all accounts, it was a complete flop.
I think you should pay everybody. Is it a reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is?
What was it for?
It was for church. That's what it's for. You just got it.
She hired well-known performers, paying $30,000 for Keith Wyatt to sing for 30 minutes and another $20,000 for a short set by Jay Holiday. Plus, let's not forget the $6,600 spent on bounce houses that barely got any use. Even her own social media posts, where she gleefully calls herself a super mayor, show a sparsely attended event. One resident even called it a waste of taxpayer money, while another said, it was nothing more than Henyard trying to play the hero for a town that can't afford her antics. Now, back to the bribery. You've probably heard of politicians pulling shady moves before, but this one takes the cake. Henyard reportedly tried to offer money to a federal agent who was involved in the investigation into her financial dealings. Can you imagine thinking that's going to work? Well, Henyard did, and now she's facing a world of legal trouble because of it. This isn't just a slap on the wrist. We're talking about bribing a federal agent is serious. If convicted, she could be looking at years behind bars. Experts say that, based on similar cases, she could face anywhere from 5 to 10 years in prison for the bribery alone. And that's not counting the potential charges for financial mismanagement, corruption, and fraud. There are plenty of high-profile cases where public officials have faced similar fates, and it doesn't look good for Henyard.
I was saying, no, he's not employed by us. So you have got just this gyration.
What's more, this bribery scandal has only added fuel to the fire of the ongoing investigations into her administration. The FBI and other authorities are digging deep into her finances, trying to untangle what's been going on in Dolton under her rule. And let's be clear, this isn't just about overspending. There are allegations of outright theft, misuse of public funds, and corruption at the highest levels. Henyard has been accused of using her position to benefit herself and her close allies, including funneling money into her own charitable foundation, which, shockingly, seems to be more about promoting her her image than helping people.
Mayor Henyard fired her chief of police late last year without any approval from the village board. So now Robert Collins has filed a lawsuit against the village.
If you thought that was bad, wait until you hear about her personal security detail. Dolton is a small town, yet Henyard insisted on a police detail that racked up hundreds of thousands in overtime pay. One officer made over $100,000 in overtime alone, more than their base salary. And here's the kicker, the town is so broke that it can barely afford basic services. Yet Henyard was spending taxpayer money to have a personal entourage escort her around. Even the town's former police chief, who has since spoken out, said that the police force was stretched so thin because officers were being pulled away from regular patrols just to guard Henyard. And where was she going? Out of town, of course, more lavish trips paid for by the people of Dolton.
I am about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, there will be anything, it'll just be me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on.
It's no wonder the residents are furious. They've been protesting, calling for her resignation, and demanding answers. One former trustee even claimed that Henyard had her home shot up after speaking out against the mayor, an accusation that only adds to the chaos surrounding this scandal-ridden administration. And while the investigations continue, Henyard is digging in her heels, refusing to back down. She's gone as far as holding board meetings by herself after the trustees walked out in protest of her. Spending and governance. Can you imagine a mayor holding a one-person meeting just to defend herself? That's what it's come to in Dolton. What makes the situation even more baffling is Henyard's apparent indifference to the outrage of her constituents. Despite their protests, she continues to act like she's untouchable. Sources close to the town hall claim she's even been overheard bragging about how she'll outlast the haters, as if this whole situation is just a game to her. It's almost like she believes the rules don't apply to her, which makes sense considering she's been flaunting the law for years now. But with federal investigators breathing down her neck, that arrogance could very well be her downfall. And it's not just her spending that has people in Dolton concerned. Henyard's leadership style has created a toxic environment within the local government. Reports have surfaced of key staff members leaving their positions due to the hostile work environment she allegedly fosters. Some even say that Henyard retaliates against anyone who questions her, making life unbearable for anyone who dares to speak up. It's no wonder the town is in shambles. Not only are the finances a mess, but the entire infrastructure of local government is crumbling from the inside out.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
No comment.
As all of this unfolds, there's speculation about what happens next. Could Henyard finally be forced out of office? Will the investigations lead to more serious charges? Legal experts say that if she's convicted of the bribery charge, it could open the door for even more charges related to the misuse of public funds, fraud, and corruption. And if that happens, she could be facing decades in prison. It's a stunning fall from grace for someone who once marketed herself as the savior of Dolton, the people's mayor who is going to turn things around. Instead, her time in office has been marked by scandal after scandal, and it seems like the walls are finally closing in. Of course, there are still Henyard supporters who are standing by her, claiming that this is all a political witch hunt. Some argue that she's being unfairly targeted because she's a powerful woman of color in a position of leadership. But even among her supporters, there are whispers of concern. Can they really ignore the mounting evidence? Can they stand by a mayor who tried to bribe a federal agent? These are tough questions. And as more details come to light, it's going to be harder and harder for anyone to defend her actions.
The legal appointment, that's what the trustees I talked to are calling this. They say the news took them by surprise, and now they're talking to legal counsel to figure out their next steps.
What's really mind-blowing about this whole saga is how Henyard continues to act like nothing's wrong. Even as the FBI is crawling through her records, and the media is reporting on every new twist and turn, she's out here posting videos of herself smiling, dancing, and calling herself the super mayor. It's almost like she's living in her own world, completely detached from the reality of the situation. But that bubble is about to burst. And when it does, it's going to be explosive. In the end, it's not just about the money or the parties or the bribes. It's about the betrayal. The people of Dolton put their trust in Henyard to lead them, to fix the problems in their town, and to make things better. Instead, they got a mayor who seems more interested in living the high life and protecting her own interests than in doing the job she was elected to do. And now, with the feds closing in, it looks like she's going to pay the price for it. So what do you think? Is Tiffany Henyard going to be able to wiggle her way out of this mess? Or is this finally the end of the line for Dolton's so-called super mayor? Could she really go to prison for trying to bribe a federal agent? And what does this mean for the people of Dolton, who are still waiting for someone to step up and clean up the mess she's left behind? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, stay tuned, because the story is far from over.